Hello, Fairfax community. Well, we're going to go from a policeman with a community mind to someone with a business and marketing and market research background with a huge community mind. Story Mag. We're going to talk all about it today, but firstly, let's have a chat with one of its staff members and one of its drivers, Clare Miles. Clare Miles from Story Mag, welcome to the Fairfax.
Thank you so much, Ross.
Clare, before we dive into this amazing project that you're working on, can I have a brief background on yourself and how you ended up here?
Sure. So I am a mum of three, and I started off my career in qualitative research, and I've always had a huge interest in people. I love listening to people. I'm a people person. I love unpacking human behavior and what makes us tick. And I have a huge curiosity in how people live their lives. I grew up with parents who are very open-minded and did things their way, but they also instilled in me this idea of being of service to people and helping people and connecting with people, and that's what makes me feel alive. So I'm lucky to get paid to think creatively. I'm a brand strategist at a full-service creative agency. That's my day job. And that's where I bring to life brands, and I'm really passionate about brand storytelling and how brands act as people as well, and they can be of service to people too. So I am passionate about insight-driven strategy and how people connect together and with brands, with each other, and with themselves. And that led me to discovering Story Mag, and I actually undertook a purpose course where I was doing some real soul searching around what is my purpose? Why am I here? And I discovered in that course that for me, whilst it was instilled in me in a young age, this idea of connection and helping people and being around people and understanding human behavior. It was when I found this handle, this storymag.co handle on Instagram, and I thought, wow, this idea of powered by sharing, what does that actually mean? And I got in touch with Natalie Mogford, who founded Story Mag, and we have been working together since to share the stories within Story Mag as a way of connecting and bringing a community together.
So, Clare, if we just go back for a sec before we get into Story Mag, what made you do this course? Had something happened in your life, or what was the turning point that you thought, I need to do a course where I need to find out what my next purpose is?
Well, I think it's called middle age.
Right.
And I think it's called this idea of, who am I and what is my purpose in life, and what am I doing? What's my legacy? Where do I want to spend the next 40 years? How do I want to spend my energy? Who do I want to spend my energy with? Who can I share that with? And whilst I'm really lucky to have a very full life, I love being a mum. I love working. I'm creative. I just felt that there's something more that I wanted to give, and there was something more that I wanted to do to make me feel alive, and so that I'm leading a fulfilling life whilst working and whilst being a mum and whilst doing all the things that we do. But it was more just about really uncovering what it is that I can provide and share and give to other people that is going to make my life more worthwhile, and also be a role model for my children as well, in terms of sharing and showing.
Let's be honest. Children are gorgeous and they're lovely, but they suck the life out of you. And it is very easy to lose your identity and your purpose. And as much as it's all about the kids, I think what you've highlighted there, it is very important that people still have their own purpose and their own thing to do, because they will get to an age and they will not need you anymore.
That's true. But also what happened was during COVID and prior to COVID even, it's this sense that we're all on this treadmill and we're all really busy and living these lives. And there's a real movement, I think, towards being more compassionate and towards kindness, which I think is about bringing communities together and empathizing and understanding that we all have a story and that we aren't alone. And I think during COVID, it was highlighted that we can be isolated and we are more disconnected than ever, even though we are in a more connected world with digital. But what I found is that you can lose yourself in your own life just by keeping up with the Joneses, doing all the things that we need to do. And it was just about me stopping and saying, well, what are my strengths? What makes me feel alive? What's important to me? What are my values? And where can I add value in other people's lives and in my own life?
So I'm a male. Many of my subscribers and supporters are males. We have a poor concentration span. What's Story Mag?
Okay, so Story Mag is a free to the people, beautifully designed magazine that shares everyday people's stories. And the purpose of Story Mag is the idea of empathizing and understanding that we are all human beings. We're male, female, non-binary. We all have a story and we all have struggles. We all have life challenges. And it feels to me that in the society that we are in is that we don't allow ourselves those moments anymore or those opportunities to really share and engage and to really understand what's happening in people's lives and how it's impacting you and how it's affecting you and the people around you. We're expected to just turn up to work and be productive and perform and to meet KPIs. And it's like, well, what's actually impacting on our performance or our productivity or being the best versions of ourselves when we're not allowed, we're not giving ourselves permission to actually really feel what's going on in our lives and to share it. There's also a lot of shame and stigma around mental health and life's challenges and how we deal with life's challenges or how we cope. And through COVID, it was this idea that everyone was managing the best way that they could. But what happened with Story Mag is that I reached out to Nat and I thought that there's something really beautiful in this idea of sharing in a time in our lives when we are not given that moment to share or have that time to share or to feel ashamed to share about what we're experiencing and feeling.
So you've got the people that participate in stories. You've got the readers. How does the magazine work? You've got like, there's so many amazing stories in this. You guys put it together, but who backs it? How does it work?
So the idea of Story Mag came about by developing actually a peer-to-peer app, which is still in the process of being developed. But what we felt was more tangible and real and human is the idea of reading people's stories in your own time, in a safe space where you don't necessarily know these people, but you can identify with their stories that they're sharing. Now, these are stories that are uplifting. They can be happy stories. They can be sad stories. They're stories of people that have been willing to share and to be vulnerable and to put down in writing something that's impacting on their lives and their outlook and their perspective on life. So people have submitted these stories and we have listened to their stories and we have curated them into this magazine. And the stories are shared across different formats, different platforms, but in the sense that it's their story and it's raw, it's real, and they're relatable. And that's the power of the experience of reading Story Mag, this tangible, beautifully designed magazine where you can immerse yourself in the stories of these people that you don't know, but somehow you can relate to them and identify in you something that has sparked something or something that has made you feel something. So any person can submit a story, and Nat and I will then read these stories and give them the space that they need. And we curate the magazines. There's 2 versions of the magazine at the moment. There's Tina on the front cover of this one and Andy on the front cover of this one. They both contain 10 stories each. And there's also a well-being tool that is contained in the magazine. Now, tool is in an exercise. So there's also a breathing exercise in one of them. And it's just creating that space to connect with yourself through storytelling.
Claire, crass question. How is it financed? Who supports this?
So StoryMag is a social enterprise, and the idea is that organisations power up a Story Mag to gift to their staff, to their clients, to their stakeholders, to their community. It's an act of kindness. It's an act of connection. It's an act of compassion. So what it's saying is that the organisations that sponsor Story and pay for the print run, they pay for the production of the magazine, they have their brand on the front of the cover, which says that they support and they stand in solidarity for human connection. So here the Arts Centre Melbourne powered up this story, and they also have a message in there. And the message is really powerful because it talks about why an organisation like the Arts Centre Melbourne or like Mecca Empower would power up a Story Mag. And it's all about believing in the power of storytelling for human connection. And it's bringing that community together, saying that we are all human and that we all have a story to share.
What feedbacks are you getting from the readers in regards to what they're getting out of these stories?
Story Mag is a really powerful experience because it's unique. It's different. It's doing well-being and mental health in a different way. It's a movement as such. And so it's a collective of organisations and a collective of people that are coming together. Whilst they're reading the magazine by themselves, it's about being part of a collection of people that understand that we are all human beings, and it's a well-being tool. It's a well-being initiative, and it's all about human connection.
So you've had people that have read it. Have you had feedback from them saying, I went through something similar to that, or I'm more confident now that I would like to share my story now that I've seen other people do it?
What it does is it takes away the shame and the vulnerability, and it gives people permission to talk about something that's really worrying them or impacting on them. The other thing that you can do is go onto the storymag.co website, and you can share a thought. You can also go through, it's a virtual experience where you can get a kind of a dopamine hit or a high through this connection. You can share a thought, you can submit a story. But the best thing as well is that you can also speak to your organisation or your community that you're a part of and pass Story Mag on. So it's about gifting it and sharing it, and through this kind of movement, this idea of all coming together and being part of this kind of wider broader collective of people that understand that what it is to be human.
Is it a little bit pay it forward?
It's about an act of kindness, an act of compassion, and it's about passing on the story mag so that other people can feel empowered to believe in their own story and to share their own story and to own their own story and to not be ashamed of it, and to not bottle it up or hold it in. So art and design is a really powerful tool in breaking down societal stigmas. So we collaborated with amazing artists Bianca Loyokono and Josh Rubenstone to work on story. And the way that these stories are brought to life, it is just so impactful and powerful. And so it's such a beautiful experience to relate to these stories.
Claire, just want to ask, so I'm not part of a large corporation, but my understanding is that they do retreats. There's often big Christmas parties, all sorts of things. Something where you're taking care of people's wellness, you can't really put a cost on it. Is it much? Does it cost much for these organisations to sponsor a magazine and then give it to their communities?
So it's a way for companies to give back in a meaningful and thoughtful way rather than just asking more and more from staff. And yes, there are wellbeing programs in workplaces, but this is a really subtle and discreet initiative that organisations simply pay for the print run. They can pay for as many copies as they require in order to give them to the community, to their staff, to their partners, clients. And it's almost priceless. It's not an expensive exercise when you think about mental health in workplaces, when you think about EAPs and wellbeing programs. It's actually just a really meaningful way of giving back.
I'm not part of one of these organisations. How do I get a copy?
So the idea is that these corporations power up story and they gift it to the community, to their community. If you're lucky enough to be a part of that community, then you'll come across story. Story Mag, you come across Story Mag by being gifted it.
Yep.
So if you're not part of an organisation that has powered up a Story Mag, you can go onto our website. You can submit a thought or a story. You can email me at clare@storymag.co.
With no I?
Clare with no I, CLARE @storymag.co. And we can collaborate on ways of getting Story Mag out to your community or for you to get a copy of Story Mag. And then we can also collaborate on ways to distribute it in a way that's meaningful and useful for you.
People working remotely, has this contributed? I know that it's good for some people in that you can be more efficient, less travel, more time with families. Do you think it's had an effect on people's mental health? Say you're someone who doesn't have a large group of community outside of work and you relied upon the workplace for interaction. Do you think that that's had an effect?
I think we are living in an increasingly connected society, but disconnected at the same time. So yes, isolation, the stigma around mental health, and also this, as I mentioned before, this idea that we can't have a moment to just think and feel. We have to keep on going, push through it. It's about self-care. And I do feel that there is a strong movement towards more self-care and looking after our mental health in the way that we exercise, in the way that we conduct physical exercise. It's about feeling connected because it's a huge human need. And I think that Story Mag is a really powerful initiative to empower and to share and to connect and to bring a community together. Whilst we're all individuals, we also are part of a bigger community, and storytelling and sharing has been a cultural initiative for a very long time. And I feel like we've lost that art of storytelling. And that's why Story Mag is so important as an initiative because it's bringing back that connection through storytelling.
I don't know if you remember, there's a famous movie called Crash, with a whole lot of stories intermingled, set in LA, probably about 15 years ago. And there's a classic line from Don Cheadle who said, "We all drift through this modern life. We crave connection." And he said, "That's why we all crash into each other." I'm not saying you crash into each other with the magazine, but as much as we all are busy, what you guys are doing, it has to be done more, doesn't it? It has to be expanded. And I'm sure that, and hoping that that's what you guys are going to do. You've got to expand so that people do have more connection.
And I think that's really true, because it's actually about connecting to yourself and connecting to others. And it's about sharing energy, and we only live once, well, apparently. So it's about really being in the moment and empathizing and understanding that we are all human beings and that we all have a story, and that there's a beauty and a power in that sharing, so that we do feel less alone, and less alone in our own story, and more connected to ourselves and others.
Claire, this enterprise that you and Nat and your amazing, talented other people are doing, what's the Instagram? Where can people get onto Instagram, and what's the website? Because it's really important for people to get into this.
To get involved, you can visit Instagram at the handle at storymag.co. We have a LinkedIn page, and that address is linkedin.com/storymagco. I would really encourage, if you work in an organisation or you're a part of a group, I would really encourage your organisation to get involved with StoryMag. And it's about this collective of like-minded brands and organisations who come together to stand for human connection within the workplace and within the communities that they are part of.
So, listeners, watchers, get behind StoryMag, have a read, have a look online. Businesses, open up your wallets, support a print run, support these stories, and just for something different, instead of take everyone out for drinks or on a retreat, contribute, get a magazine run going for StoryMag, get your community going. And even if someone reads it and doesn't contribute, they might go, "Oh, I'm not the only one going through this." Clare Miles and everyone else at StoryMag, Natalie Mogford, thank you for this. We need more of this in our modern lives, because as you say, we're connected, but we're not connected. So we've got our faces in these bloody things the whole time. Have a look at this magazine, guys. It's amazing. Clare Miles from StoryMag, thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much for your support, Ross.